Thank you, Kez. I'm glad it's your favourite time of the day. It's actually my favourite time of the day as well. I'm very happy to be here, like always, and we have such a great community here together, all cooking, everyone in their kitchen, hopefully cooking up a storm and following along with me. This is the second last session this week dealing with tomato sauce, because it's been a tomato sauce week. For those who have not been here since the beginning, we made tomato sauce, the MMCC Essential Tomato Sauce, on Monday. We made 3 litres of it, which is 12 cups, and we've been using it all week, and we're going to use it tomorrow. So it just shows you that if you've got this sauce in the freezer, it makes things so quick and easy. I've given you 4 fabulous ideas to do with the sauce. Hello everyone. Hi Brizzy Chris. Hey Lisa in Melbourne. Yeah, got to give a shout out firstly to Melbourne people. Sorry, you know what? Came from Sydney. Guess it's our fault. Sorry it came to Melbourne. Sorry you're back in lockdown. I just hope, fingers crossed, that it's only 5 days for you, and we'll all be out of it soon. And Sydney, what can I say? Follow the rules, people. Please stay home. Please don't go out. And please, if you've got even the, I don't want to sound like, you know, the press conference, but I've got to say, if you've even got the slightest sniffle or the slightest hint of a sore throat, and this is what we've always done in our household, my kids are rolling their eyes, I'm sure, off to have a test as soon as you've got something, okay? Please do what you can do, because we've got to get this better. It's really not a good situation. Businesses are suffering, people are suffering, but the silver lining for us is that we can all cook together, and yay, I'm happy about that at least. So, today we're doing a recipe that came to us from a gal in Melbourne, Laurel Ritz, who gave us this beautiful spinach and ricotta gnudi clouds, as she called them, and it was in our 3rd book. Now, the original recipe is in this book, and we're not changing the original recipe at all today. This recipe makes beautiful dumplings made with spinach and ricotta and eschallots, and then you cook them in boiling water like you would any dumpling, and then you're going to put them in the tomato sauce to bake at the end. And the tomato sauce we are using is, of course, the one we made on Monday, the MMCC Essential Tomato Sauce, okay? So you need that. If you don't have the sauce, if you haven't made it, it's also fine, but you've got to buy a sauce. Buy a bottled pasta sauce, go to a, I'm trying to think who sells it, like in Sydney I know Pasta Pantry sells sauce that's made. Just buy a nice tomato sauce, because you're going to eat it, okay? It's not going to be consumed in a soup that you might lose the flavours. You're really going to taste the sauce, and you really want it to be a good one, okay? Let's go through what we need for this morning. First thing I want you all to do, if you're cooking along, is put on a pot of boiling water, because we're going to have to cook the gnudis in about 10 minutes. So I'm using that same stock pot I've actually used all week. I call it a half-size soup pot, and I am going to keep that on the boil now, because we're going to use it soon. Okay, and I'm going to salt it. I'm going to put my cooking salt in, and just put probably a good tablespoon of salt in that pot. Lid's on. I'm going to turn it down to a simmer now, because mine is already boiling, but get yours on now. Then we're going to need a fry pan, about this size. It's probably about 25, 26 centimetres, not a huge one. And we're going to cook everything off. So let's go through all the ingredients step by step. You've got the sauce, we know that, and we don't need that till the end. Now, you're going to need a baking dish. About 20 by 32 is going to be the dimensions that we need. And I don't know about you, but I try to write on the bottom of my dishes what the capacity is in litres and what the size is, because I'm sick of getting my ruler out every minute. You know, what size is this? Because it sort of helps if you know what it is, okay? You need a 3-litre dish, you need a this size. This is about the size you need for this dish. You know, it's a bit bigger, it doesn't matter. If it's a bit smaller, it doesn't matter. But you need a middle-size baking dish. Okay. Thanks, Kez. Hey, my friend Chef Jason Roberts is online. You've got to check out, actually, his Instagram. It is fantastic. Like, really, trust me on this. Go and have a look. He's doing amazing things. Good to have you on here. Okay, back to our ingredients. Let's go. We need some chopped eschallots. So this is a I call it a French eschalot. Some people call it a French shallot. Some people call it an eschalot. It is like a funny looking little onion. It's often got little parts in it that make up the whole. The thing is, if you're doing a recipe with 10 of them, they're a bugger to peel, and I'll show you a really good hack on that, okay? So all you need to do is put your eschalots in a bowl. I'm just doing it in this little cup to show you. Cover it with boiling water. Let it sit for 10 minutes, and the skin will just slip off. It's actually so good. Otherwise, it's really fiddly to peel. Just wanted to show you that. Hey, Esther, that's my sister in Melbourne, back in lockdown. Sorry about that. You may have missed my apology, Esther, to the whole of Melbourne from the whole of Sydney. So sorry we sent it to you. And okay, eschalots. I have done 2 eschalots, but if they're bloody giant ones like this, 1 is fine. And I've used, I'm not going to show you how to chop that now, but I've chopped it pretty finely. This is, I want them sort of to melt into the dish. So I don't want to really taste crunchy bits of onion. I just want to have nice flavour throughout the sauce, okay? So I've got 2 eschalots chopped. I've got 1 clove of garlic, which you can either crush in your garlic crusher or put in whole. As you know, those of you who have been with me all week know I don't love crushed garlic in a dish. So I'm going to smash it a bit. I'm going to put the whole thing in and take it out before I start forming the dumplings. More about that in a minute. Then the essential ingredients. We need spinach. I'm being super lazy today, and I have bought 100 grams of baby spinach leaves. Couldn't be bothered washing spinach. Couldn't be bothered dealing with it. You could use silver beet, you could use English spinach, and you can use baby spinach. We want 100 grams of the leaves, okay? Easy. We'll just have to cook them for way less time than we would have if we did the big leaves of the other 2. We need ricotta, 500 grams. What I always do, as a matter of course, when I'm making a cake or cooking with ricotta, I put it in some paper towel in a colander or otherwise for a few hours before I use it. Yes, you can use onion if you don't have eschalots, by all means. You probably need a 1/4 of an onion for this, and chop it finely. Red onion would be great. So I've put my ricotta in the paper towel. The paper towel's now wet. Depends where you get your ricotta. Sometimes it's really wet and needs to be well drained, and sometimes it's dry. So I can't tell you whether your ricotta needs draining or not, but I always do it as a matter of course. So we've got 500 grams of ricotta. Then we're going to have 1/2 cup of plain flour, and yes, you can use gluten-free flour. I believe it has been tested. I haven't done it, but 1/2 cup of plain flour. We have a 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. You can use Grana Padano, you can use Reggiano. The Reggiano has a stronger flavour. It's been aged longer. It's I think that for a dish that you're going to put it inside the dumpling, I think you can use Grana Padano happily. I don't think that we in our family could really tell the difference at all. And then for the sprinkling on the top, you might want to use the Reggiano, 1/4 cup for sprinkling on the top at the end. Okay, I appear to have lost it. Oh, here it is. And of course, 1 egg. Okay, so let me just run through again what we're making. We're making spinach and ricotta gnudi, which are little dumplings, which we're going to cook, shape, we're going to cook onions and spinach. We're going to drain it, get the liquid out. We're going to mix that with ricotta and flour and Parmesan and egg. We're going to shake them with 2 spoons. Sounds really fancy, it really isn't. In boiling water for a few minutes, scoop them out, drain them, put them in the tomato sauce, cover with a bit more Parmesan, and bake in the oven to serve. If you are going to serve them tonight, we're going to cook our gnudis now, our dumplings, and drain them. You can put them in the sauce and put it in the fridge till tonight when you bake it. So it's a really great do-ahead thing. It doesn't need to be done at the last minute, which is always a bonus in my book. All right, the difficulty with Instagram Live is that the bit you can see is so little, and I've got a whole bench of ingredients, so I'll try really hard to go through them step by step so you can see what I'm doing. Let me try to sort myself out here properly. All right, you're also going to need 1 tablespoon of butter that we're going to cook the eschalot in. All right, let's start. It's getting very dark here. Hold on a minute. It looks like it's about to pour. I don't know about what's happening at your place, but it's very, very grey, and I need to just put my blind up. It's amazing. Miracle. It worked. I don't like to put the light on because it's really comes straight down on my head. Okay, are we ready to go? Fry pan on. Remember, we've got our boiling water on, ready to cook the dumplings in about 10 minutes. Fry pan on, we're going to put in the butter. It's about a tablespoon, 20 grams in there. I can get this out of the way. Hopefully you've all chopped your onion or your eschalot already. And I'm just going to take the papery peel off my garlic, and I'm literally putting it in like that. You could crush it with the back of a knife and chuck it in. Depends how much you like garlic. All right, butter, eschalot. And you know, I've been going on a week, those of you who have been with me, about how to cook your onions properly for the tomato sauce. We don't have to be so precious with these. They're very small, they've been cut finer, they're a sweeter onion, they're a softer onion in the end, and they'll just take about 5 minutes or so to cook. All right, we're going to take out our trusty wooden spatula. Again, I want to sizzle. I'm always starting on high because I want to hear that sizzle before I turn it down to the temperature I want. Okay. So is everyone sizzling away? Tell me you can hear that sizzle at your place too, and you can smell it. Chuck your garlic in. Yum. What do you think? So it already smells fantastic. Who doesn't love butter and onion and garlic? Honestly, it's just such a delicious smell to fill your kitchen and your whole house. I absolutely love it. All right, I want to know who's cooking today. Hands up. Give me a sign. I know it's hard to cook and type at the same time and send your emojis. So Dorrit, you're not cooking yet. Too early. Okay. Hope you'll be doing it this afternoon. Jane, excellent. Happy. Let me know if you're cooking. Give me a little thumbs up. Would love to see it. Or a heart. Yeah, see, that's good. Lots of hearts on the side. Fills my heart with joy. Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn the light on. I have to turn this hideous light on so you can see. Yeah. Okay. At least you can see this now. Is that in the way? Okay. Frying nicely. Now I'm going to turn it down. Now that it's got a good sizzle going, I'm going to turn it down to medium, okay? Oh, Katie, hey, Jax. Hey, Jax. Happy. Some people are watching now, cooking later, which is also a good thing. You know, get the idea of how it's going and then cook it in your own time later. I really try to go slowly, step by step, because I know how hard it is to follow someone else. You know, we see in MasterChef those competitions, you know, when they had the famous chefs on and then contestants had to copy step by step. It's really, really hard. And I've done some sessions with friends on Zoom where I actually see what they're doing, and you don't appreciate how hard it is to follow along until you actually see how hard it is. So now I appreciate it is what I'm trying to say. All right. My eschalots are frying away nicely. I don't mind if they've got a bit of colour here. That's okay. That's all right. Smells delicious. This isn't like for the tomato sauce where we want the onions to be soft and translucent with no colour. And this isn't like the egg and onion, which I'm doing next week, which I want them to be golden and fried. So for this, we're going somewhere in the middle. Okay. Thanks, Jane. I'm so happy you've loved the week. I've loved it too. And I think that what I'm most excited about is I've given people a tool so they can be like our household and have a freezer full of tomato sauce at any time to take out and make a meal in minutes. I love it. Okay, so hopefully the feed hasn't frozen. Hopefully we're still going along. Someone says frozen. Yeah, we're relying on this internet. That's difficult, isn't it? All right. I'm going to turn that hideous light off for a few more minutes. Okay, so the onions to me, I'm going to taste it. You know I always like to taste. I've got the tiniest bit of a crunch. I'm okay with that. I'm going to put a bit of salt on the onions. I always like, I don't know, Jason, if you agree with me on this, and I don't know if this is a chefy thing or not, but I always like, if salt's going in the dish, to salt here at this point, okay? Because I feel like it's going into the base of the dish and then it's going to go through everything that touches these onions, which is pretty much everything. So I've put like a really good pinch of salt in there and a grind of pepper in the onions. Give it a bit of a toss. Next, we're going to put in the spinach. Okay, let's go. Turn the heat up just a little bit. And let's put in the spinach. Now this spinach, unlike big leaves, English spinach, or even worse is, you know, what's it called again? Yeah, I've got a mental blank. Not English spinach, the other one. Yeah, mental blank, doesn't matter, it'll come back. I'm just going to take my lid for a minute and just pop it on top. Just I want it to steam. I want the spinach to cook in about 1 minute. And as soon as it's cooked, I'm going to put it in a colander. Okay, so get yourself a colander and a bowl. We're going to put it straight in there, all right? Okay, any tweaks for the pasta sauce? No, no tweaks. Exactly as it was in the recipe. We just made a double batch on IGTV on the video and on Instagram Live of the tomato sauce. Add exactly as it is, but make sure you cook it for a couple of hours, okay? None of this half an hour stuff. This sauce has to cook and get richer and richer and taste along the way and at the end, okay? Yeah, Jason uses so much salt. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I agree with you, Jason. Everyone can read what he says. So basically don't add too much at the beginning, because if you're cooking something down, it's going to intensify. But I just added a bit. And I think that to add it in the beginning, and do it with my egg and onion too, it just is a good time to add it rather than all at the end. Okay, so this is what your spinach should be looking like now. Wilted, soft, and pretty much almost ready to go. So if you're using English spinach, why can't I remember the name of the other spinach? It's beyond me. Can you use frozen spinach? Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I got to be honest. You could. You've got to defrost it. You've got to drain it out in paper towels. Yes, you could. I wonder how the sauce would go in the slow cooker. I don't know enough about slow cookers to answer that, because it's got to cook and reduce, and I don't know what the slow cooker does. Silver beet, thank you, take me to the leaders. Silver beet, okay. I have got my strainer and my bowl, and I'm going to put my spinach straight into that now, and my garlic and my eschallots and everything, okay? Everything goes in there. Put that aside. All right. This is probably the most complicated of recipes we've done this week, and it's not very complicated, but it's the first time I do anything. I don't know about you guys. I do it slowly and carefully, and it might be hard, it might be complicated, but then the second time you do it, you're a bit better at it. But the third time, it's like, can't believe I thought this was even complicated. And this is a bit like that. The thought of making dumplings for some people is overwhelming, but honestly, once you see how easy they are to make and how bloody delicious, that you will go, oh, dumplings are easy. All right, so what we're trying to do here is get all the liquid out. We all know that when spinach cooks, you know those funny things when we go and buy like this much spinach, right? And then you steam it and you get this much in your hands. Like this is a bit like that. So that whole bowl of spinach has turned into this, okay? I'm squeezing out the liquid and letting it cool down at the same time. I'm going to take my garlic out now, but by all means leave it in for as long as you want. Okay? Remember, we're not a garlic household, so I just want a hint of it, and the garlic skin as well. All right, so squeeze that out in your colander. Now, get yourself a mixing bowl. I'm just going to get a wooden board to put on here. Which one will I use? This one. Okay. I'm going to chop the spinach here in a minute, but let's get a mixing bowl out, because we're going to have we need a place to put all the ingredients to make our beautiful mixture for the dumplings. So I'm going to get a glass bowl so you can see what I'm doing. Yes, I should have done that already. I know. Too many ingredients to get out today. Glass bowl. While the spinach is cooling, I'm going to get the rest of the ingredients into that bowl. I'm going to put my ricotta, which is beautiful and dry now. Have a look. It just falls off that paper towel, ricotta, and now the paper towel is wet with the water that I don't want in the dumplings. Put that aside. I'm going to add, no, that's the wrong Parmesan, that's the later. I'm going to add my half a cup of Parmesan, my grana padano in there as well. And I'm going to use this bowl to beat my egg. I always like to check the egg before I go to the next step, only for the purpose of preventing a disaster in case it's off. I've had one off egg in the kitchen in however many years, but you know what? You never know. And if you put an off egg into there, you've ruined it all. So egg looks great. Just going to give it a little beat. Okay, beat your egg. Put that in. Okay. I drained the ricotta for Saul, who asked, by putting it just in a bowl in a paper towel, and you can put it on a colander if you like. But paper towel works fine. Like, sorry, that's my phone. At least it's not the doorbell, actually. And the only people that ever ring my home number are my husband Danny and my mother. So I wonder which one of those it is. Anyway, sorry, can't answer now. All right, that's in there. And the flour, we're going to wait. I just don't want it sitting with the egg and going gluggy at the moment. Let's go back to our spinach, which is now well drained. You can see I've got like that much, let's see, liquid in the bottom of that. Not a huge amount. Onto a chopping board. And we're just going to chop it. Now, if you're going to be a bit lazy here, like I sometimes am and sometimes are, lazy as I sometimes can't talk today. See what happens when I go to physio and he like presses my back muscles and can't even talk today. Can't even think of things today. I apologise. Okay. Sometimes I take shortcuts. Sometimes I'm a bit lazy and I don't chop this finely enough. And I think this dish is better if you can chop it finely, because you want the spinach spread throughout the dumpling. You don't want it in big pieces like I did last time I made it. So let me just go get my big knife and then I'm coming to chop, okay? So grab yourself a big knife and we're just going to chop this up. Okay, just chop it up as finely as you can be bothered, with my words of wisdom in your ear from my last disaster, okay? Chop it as well as you can. This is where frozen spinach often comes in handy if you buy the chopped one, because it's already chopped. But I think it's got a different flavour. Do you agree with me? I think that when you buy frozen spinach, it's got a weird flavour, and I think fresh is much better. Okay, this is not an ideal place to chop, but you'll have to bear with me. So, are we all chopping away? Okay. No. Oh, hey, Carm. It's my new friend, Carm, in Canada. Carm, yeah, not cooking because it's, what, 10:45 p.m. What do you mean you're not cooking? Come on, surely you would cook at 10:45 p.m. I'm glad you're getting hungry, actually. Hold on a sec. I need to fix this. If I can solve this problem. Sort of. Okay. All right, chopping, everyone. Chop, chop, chop as finely as you can. Make sure your water is onto the boil, on a high boil, because we're going to need that in just a minute. Okay, let's see. Is it chopped enough? Let's keep going. Okay, who's up to where I am? Anyone lagging behind? Anyone bored, waiting for me to go to the next step? Tell me, I'd love to know. Give me some feedback. Too fast, too slow, or just right. Okay, so I can see the onions, I can see the spinach, I've removed my garlic, but you can keep your garlic in if you like. All right. See, I'm trying not to be too quick here and put it in the mix already, because I know as soon as I do and I see how coarsely it is rather than finely chopped, I will have spinach regret, okay? So I'm taking an extra few minutes of my time and your time to actually get this chopped, okay? And I think you need to do the same. All right, thanks, Katie, just right. Happy to hear. Let's have a look. Yep, I think that's getting there. Okay, I'm going to give it 2 more chops. I've got a habit of doing that, I've noticed these past weeks. I say, yep, that's done, and then I keep going. Or I say, yep, that's smooth enough, and then I'll keep mixing. So I think when I say it's done, it means it's nearly done, all right? So chop. And a big knife is good for this job. You know, different knives are good for different jobs, particularly in the home kitchen. I use this for some things, and I use my favourite, I've got to say. This is a Victorinox steak knife for chopping things like eschallots or little slippery tomatoes. It's really good, it's really sharp, and it's very good. Love it. But that's the big knife for this. All right. Are we done? Yep. Okay. Spinach is chopped. Let's go into the bowl with all the ingredients. Okay. Let's turn this around. Actually need this back. My trusty chucks. Okay. Can't live without these, by the way. Love them. All right. Everything's there. Mixing bowl. I'm going to need a wooden spoon. In here, just to go over it again, I have the spinach mixture that we cooked with the eschallots and the garlic. I've got 1 egg. I've got the Parmesan, ricotta, and I'm about to add the flour. Okay, I'm just going to give this a mix first. Okay, everything except the flour is in here. Ricotta, egg. It's already yum. Already smells yum. Sounds yum. Looks yum. Ticks all the boxes, actually. Yeah, I'm glad you agree with me, Rose. It's actually the best knife, that Victorinox. Okay, lovely. We have a lovely mixture like that. And now I'm going to put in the flour. Whenever I'm adding flour to stuff, unless I'm looking to make something else that needs that texture, I don't want to beat the hell out of flour, okay? I just want to fold it in. So I'm using my wooden spoon quite gently and mixing this all together, okay? And this is going to make our dumplings. And of course, before we cook them, what are we going to do? One thing that's so important the whole way through cooking anything is to taste. I have got friends, a friend in particular I'm thinking of, who just doesn't taste. I mean, her food's delicious, interestingly. She just never tastes going along, and I just don't get it because I'm a big taster. Perhaps I'm too big a taster, but yeah, I love a taste along the way. Okay, so now's the time to finish seasoning. If your mixture is a bit bland, a bit needs salt, it just needs salt. I mean, bland is probably the wrong word, but to me this really needs salt and pepper. Do this, taste it again, because it's important to get this mixture right, okay? It's going to boil in salted water, so it is going to take some of the salt from the water, but it needs to have a good flavour before we start. Let's try it again. Yum. Happy with that? Good. Good to go. Maybe a bit more pepper. See, I just did it again. Good to go, but then let's add more. What is that? Must be some part of my personality that does that. It's a strange thing. All right. Okay. You know what I think it is? I think that I'm always searching for perfection in what I make, and nothing's ever perfect, of course. So I think, yep, that's it. And then I think, maybe it can be a tiny bit better. I don't know. It just goes on and on, doesn't it? All right, that's it. Put this away. Bear with me. Let's bring our boiling water over here. Everyone, a big pot, okay? No little saucepans for this. Katie, it was a half a cup of flour, 75 grams, half a cup. In our kitchen, in all our books, 1 cup of flour is 150 grams, and different people in the world do different things, but that's our standard MMCC measurement, and it really works well for us. Now, what you're going to need next to your saucepan is a board like this. Where will I put it so you can see it? Here. No, you can't see it there. Okay, I'm going to put it next to me, and I'll show it to you. And I'm going to cover it with a couple of paper towels, because what we're going to do is we're going to cook the dumplings, and then we're going to let them drain, okay? So get some paper towel, like 4 layers, okay, and put it on your board like this, okay? And I'm going to get my trusty scoop. You can use a slotted spoon, you can use whatever it is you've got, and I'm using what I call my chicken soup skimmer, which is this, okay? Everyone ready? Yep, the cheese is in, Dorrit. I've got everything in here. Ricotta, spinach, eschallots, garlic, butter, which I cook them in, flour, egg, Parmesan in, okay? Everything's in except, obviously, the tomato sauce. Now comes the fun part. We're not doing fancy canals. We're not chefs. I'm not a chef. Well, there are some chefs out there, but it's not for me. So I want to show you that this might freak you out, but actually, it's not so hard. We just need to make a nice shape like that. That's all. Just like that. And into the water, okay? And we're going to cook about 6 at a time, okay? Again, a big spoon. Make them a good size. Okay? 2. Everyone following along. Spoon, other spoon to make the shape, all right? That's it. Maybe 2 or 3 goes at it. You want it to be reasonably smooth. You don't have to be obsessive about it. It is not going in a cooking competition. It is going in the water and it will just boil nicely. And it's going to be covered in sauce and cheese anyway. So, 3. Don't need to oil your spoons. You don't need to do anything. It's really quite simple, okay? Is everyone seeing how easy this is to do? Okay? And they've just got to cook, and we're just going to wait till they float to the top. And then I'm just going to do, as I said, 6 at a time. You don't want to do too many because by the time you get to the last one, you know, it's too many. If you're going to do 20 of them, you won't know which ones are cooked and which ones aren't cooked well enough. So I'm making these lovely little canals. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 more. I'm making them quite big today. It should make about 20, I think. Serves about 4 people, 20 to 24. All right, 6 in there. Done. Do I compress them? Good question. No, I'm not compressing at all. I'm just, and I'm not even gently forming them. I'm just forming them. It's mostly ricotta. It's actually a very hearty mixture. It's not a mousse. I don't need to be light. It's not a matzo ball that I can compress it too much. I don't think you can compress this too much. And I just want to check what it says actually in the recipe is cooking time, because it says simmer for a few minutes or until they float to the surface. Great instruction. All right. So a few minutes is going by and they're starting to come up to the top. You can see, you can see that they are look like that, okay? But I'm going to keep cooking because they're not quite cooked yet. How are you going? Tell me how you're going. Tell me if yours are shaping nicely, whether they're not falling apart in the water. They shouldn't fall apart in the water. They're all keeping together nicely. There are a few little bits around, but we're not going to worry about that. And think about what's in it that's going to cook. We've got the egg and we've got the flour. So they're the 2 ingredients that we need to cook properly before we go to the next step. And they need to hold their shape. So that's the story with these. So mine, I'm going to turn them down. It's been on high all this time. And I'm going to turn it down to medium-high now. And I think that they're probably ready. So you imagine if you put in 20, it would just be too hard to know which ones are cooked. And as they only take a few minutes, we can just do 2 batches or 3 batches. We've got plenty of time. All right, so this one looks lovely and cooked. You can see it is. It's held its shape really well. I'm going to pop it onto a board like this, okay? And it's like a little a big dumpling is what it is, okay? And that's it, okay? So we're going to line them up nicely so we've got room for all of them. And that's my first batch done, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, see, that's a very weird shape, but it really doesn't matter. You'll see when we do the next stage. Now, if everyone's happy, I'm just going to go along and finish them. I'm not going to go away and do it later. I'm going to do it now. So if everyone's cooking along with me, you'll be doing the same, okay? And if you're not cooking along, ask me a question. Tell me something. Tell me what you're doing in lockdown. Tell me if you are in lockdown. Tell me if you're not in lockdown and where you are. Tell me anything. I'll just do this and I can actually read what you're saying at the same time. Again, we're doing nice canals, big fat ones actually, using 2 spoons to shape it. Good question. Is the water from Calm, is the water smiling or laughing? The water is definitely laughing. I was telling the group yesterday that Michaela told me, someone who interviewed me a few weeks ago, who's actually a fantastic girl and fantastic interviewer, that her grandmother told her that the water is either smiling or laughing. That's how you describe simmering or boiling, and I love it. And this one is definitely laughing, okay? It's not laughing hysterically, okay? Okay, so if yours are soft and wobbly, leave them in. They're not ready yet, okay? Mine, look, they're not, I'm not going to throw them around the kitchen. Let me just finish these and then I'll show you what they look like. I'm not going to throw them around the kitchen, okay? So they are soft. They are a little bit fragile, but you should be able to hold it in your hand. Yeah, hey Foodiegram. I just want to introduce you all to Foodiegram. She's just come on. If you do not follow her on Instagram, your life is not complete, okay? That's all I have to say. She will keep you laughing from morning till night, okay? She keeps us all laughing all the time. Yeah, she says she can't stop eating. We're the same. I mean, it's so true. And I said to a friend of mine the other day, you know what, it would be good to know the end date of the lockdown, so at least we know, well, at least the last week we can be really good and healthy and lose the kilo or two that we've put on while we weren't. And she then put a meme up the next day that said exactly the same thing, and it's so true, isn't it? Yeah, those of us who love to eat, it's a tough time because we eat too much. Yeah, who's with me on that? Who is eating too much in lockdown? I think there was a thing they said in Melbourne in their horrible giant lockdown that they all put on 5 kilos, like everybody in Melbourne. That's what they called it, the COVID 5. Oh, thank you, Nebulous 2001. Thank you. I love that comment. I'll take that. Thank you. Okay, so I've got them in again. Did I do 6? I was too busy chatting. I think so. So 6 at a time. Back to Amit's question. They are, okay, that's the cooked one. I want to show you how I can do that. I can turn it around. I'm not going to juggle it, okay? That won't work. It's, well, you know what? It's actually quite hardy. I want to show you. It is a little wobbly, but not too much, okay? That's it. Okay. Yeah, Rob says to find too much eating. You know what? It's a good question, Rob. It's different for every person, I guess. I don't know what the answer is. Too much, I think, is just more than you're supposed to. Oh, no, that's a bad thing. It's a bad definition. We all eat more than we're supposed to. Well, we do in our house anyway. Don't know about yours. Yeah, so Calm from Canada has just started following Foodiegram. Calm, you won't be sorry, I promise you. She's the funniest person ever. Hysterical. Okay, how's your second batch going? Is everyone following me? Let's see if they're ready. They've come to the top. Once they come to the top, I give them a couple minutes, okay? Okay, so Amit said hers are still soft and we'll keep them in the water boiling. Yeah, but not too long, okay? Again, when you pull it out, it should keep its shape. See how it's just still sitting there nicely? It's kept its shape and I think it's ready to come out. Again, the next batch, the next 6. We'll see how many we make. The recipe says 20 to 24. Depends really how big you make them. And in our house, we tend to go bigger for some reason. We just love our food and we just love to eat. And I think lockdown gives you an excuse to eat, which just takes me back to my very basic principles of food being something that soothes your soul and nourishes you from inside out. Don't you think? It really does. And I think the fact that people eat in lockdown is testament to that. Nothing better. Nothing better. Even when you're feeling a bit blah or a bit glum, to have a piece of delicious homemade cake or to make yourself a soup or, you know, it's good. Okay, so I have got 12 done. I'm definitely not going to make 20. I'm definitely going to make about, let's see, let's finish these. So the mixture is very sticky and I'm doing this very awkwardly. I don't know if Jason Roberts is still online, but I'm sure, because he is a very accomplished chef, he's just watching me making these quenelles and going, you know, yeah, I know. Anyway, there you go. Quenelle in the water. Go. We're going to finish them. Okay, so Katie, yours are quite soft. Yeah, kept their shape but soft. We want them to be light. Remember, they're just made with ricotta, and ricotta's never going to go hard, and you don't want it to, okay? All they have to do now, these little dumplings, is sit gently in the sauce and be cooked in the oven. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to do a dance routine. They don't have to sit on their own on a plate. they're going to be in the sauce, so it's very forgiving. You just don't want them to be mushy and dissolve into the sauce. That would not be so good. All right, let me just get my spatula out and get all this mixture. Again, every session I say, gotta have a silicone spatula. All right, and I'm just scraping the sides of the bowl, and I'm going to get quite a few more out of that for my last batch. How are we going? Okay. Okay, let's go. Let's finish these off because I need to show you the next step. And I don't really want to keep you for 3.5 hours today. That wouldn't be fun. It'll be fun for me, but maybe not for you. All right. So again, last batch in. Yeah, this is going to make 18, I think. How are we going? Okay. Bye, Foodiegram. Bye, Mari. See you later. She says her kids are calling for lunch. Can't you just tell them, hey, kids? Yeah, I'm busy. I shouldn't say that because I have, yeah, my kids are a little older and still want lunch when it's lunchtime. All right, here we go. Last one. And this is going to be a beauty. It's all my remaining stuff. That's my spoon. Last cannelle of the day. All right? Everyone with me? Cannelling. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that we'd spend a Friday lunchtime cannelling together? Really? No idea. Here we go. Okay, when these come to the top, I'm going to take them out and put them here. You can see I've got all my lovely dumplings sitting there. And we're going to put them on the baking dish, in a minute. Just going to wait for the last ones to be ready. I did lots of videos last year during lockdown for this group called Danera, who did an amazing hub of all things that were on for people to watch, particularly the older generation who didn't have access or knowledge to find their way around the internet. And I was doing the food stream with my friend Melissa Port from, Melissa Don Port, I should say, from Mia Cucina in Sydney, and we had a great time. But what I wanted to tell you that for is that so many times people would send me a message to say, and it was on Zoom, so you could see the whole bench top. Lisa, your kitchen is too messy. You need to tidy up as you go. So I've tried really hard to learn, as I've done more and more of these things, to either get the mess out of the way so you don't see it and deal with it somehow, or not make a mess in the first place, which is a bit harder. All right, how are we going? Yep, these are looking great. See, they really do hold their shape. It is soft, I agree with you, so I'm going to put that back for 1 more minute. How are we going? Everyone boiling away. You should be finishing your 3rd batch of dumplings now. As I said, mine makes probably, we'll see in a minute. Have a look. This is what it looks like. And if it feels like it is soft in the middle, and that's okay. I want it to be lovely and light and tender when I eat it. All right, these are done now. Out of the water, onto the board with a paper towel. Here we go. Okay. It's actually hard in lockdown to not bake. Like, I want to spend the day tomorrow making vanilla slices. I want to make Russian Easter bread. Like, I want to take on these baking projects. But the problem is, and I think a lot of you will relate to me, is that you just then eat the whole thing. And we just can't eat that much every day. And it's such a shame. Really a shame, because I would really love to make them all. So that's my dumplings done. Okay. Take that off the heat now. It's very hot. Don't mind the steam. Baking dish, remember. This is the size we're using, but it can be round about that, okay? 31, this one is 21 by 26, which is about 560 square centimetres. I didn't just work that out, I checked it this morning. Worked out the area of the dish. Into the dish, I'm going to put my tomato sauce. I have got 4 cups. If your dish is a bit bigger, you may need a bit more. If your dish is a bit smaller, you may need a bit less, okay? And this is my lovely, thick, well-flavoured tomato sauce that I know and love, that we made together the other day. And now I'm going to take my little gnudis and nestle them gently into the sauce, okay? And you can do it with your hands if you like, or with a spoon. but I'm quite happy to use my hands here. Okay, so we're just nestling them in. I'm just going to work out, I have got 4, 8, 12, 15, I've got 18 altogether. So I need to do, well, we'll see how we go. I can't divide 18 by 4. So it's going to be 4 or 5 in a row, and I'm going to try to do 4 rows, okay? So whatever size your dish is fine. You just have to make them fit. The sauce is not warm. The sauce is cold from the fridge. If you were cooking it straight away, I have no problem with your sauce being, warm. But because I'm not going to cook mine till later, then I'm going to have a cold sauce. So cold sauce is fine. Okay, hope that answers the question. So I've got 5, 10. See what I've done? Just sticking them in. I'm going to shove them in a bit more in a minute, but I'm just going to put, you know what, 6 threes is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3 rows of 6 in this dish, and they fit perfectly. I thought I could fit 4 rows, which was why I was struggling with 18. I do know that 3 6s are 18. Okay, that's it. So I have got, that one's not quite right. And I'm just going to shove them with my hands a little bit into the sauce. Okay, I'm just pressing them in gently. Shove is the wrong word. Shove makes it sound way too much force. Okay, I'm just gently pressing them in. Remember, as the sauce cooks in the oven or heats up, it's going to boil and come up a little bit over the gnudis, but we do want to see them. We just don't want to see tomato. Then the last third of a cup that we had measured of grated Parmesan cheese, I'm going to sprinkle over the top. Yum, and it already looks great. So what I'm going to do, because I'm going to serve this for dinner, I'm going to put it in the fridge. I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap or whatever you want to cover it with, and I'm going to leave it in the fridge for the day, and then later I'll take it out of the fridge maybe half an hour before I cook it, and then I'm going to cook it without a cover in the oven. And I'm going to cook it for, and I know you're going to ask me, and of course I don't know that information off the top of my head, but I'm going to tell you now. You're going to heat the oven to 180 degrees, and you're going to cook it for 20 minutes. Remember, if you've taken it out of the fridge, it's going to take longer in the oven, okay? You've got to allow for it to come to, you know, room temperature plus 20 minutes. So if I put it in the oven now, it would be 20 minutes because it's all warm/room temperature. My cold sauce is getting not cold because it's sitting on the stove, which is warm. That's it. 20 minutes. It's got to be bubbling. It's got to start to get brown on the top. It's got to smell amazing. Okay, so don't just use the time. Use your senses and your judgment to make sure it's absolutely perfect when it comes out of the oven. And then, like always, let it sit for a few minutes. It's too hot to eat straight away. I would make a green salad to go with it and maybe a crusty baguette, and that's dinner done. And I know it took us, you know, took me nearly an hour to do it, but you know what, I've been chatting so much and explaining things along the way. So in real life, when you do this, it doesn't need to take more than probably 20 minutes to put it together. And if you've got the sauce already in the freezer, you know, you're halfway there. So that's it. Spinach and ricotta gnudi in tomato sauce. And thanks again to Laurel Ritz for sharing that recipe years ago, which is now in this book, which is our 3rd book, which actually we don't have on the website anymore. For those of you who have been asking, it is available through Amazon though and Booktopia. Quick shout out about the apron. There is a sale on. I've put it on sale in the fact that there's no postage payable if you put in the code lockdown21 when you buy the apron. I am wearing the regular size. Marilyn and Natty, you'll see in the photos, were wearing the petite size. It's stretchy cotton. It is fabulous and I love it, and I think it's really stylish. Do you think it's stylish? I do. The other thing is the books are on sale on the website. Now for Something Sweet, our most recent book, which is a really great thing to have, particularly during lockdown, because you can bake your way from start to finish. It's on sale now for $35. Never been so low. I'm going to keep that price. Also till Sunday for all of you. So that's the big shout out and push for me. I've also got a chiffon class, a proper class on Zoom where I'll properly answer your questions, where you'll see the whole bench top. And I'd love you to join me. It's on Sunday the 25th of July. and you'll need a chiffon tin, and you've got to buy one. There's a link on the page on our website which shows you where you can buy it. We don't get a commission from that, but you need one to do the class, and it's a skill that I think if once you have it, you won't be sorry. It's a chiffon cake is an essential part of baking, and I love them, and I want to share the secrets of the chiffon cake with you. And last but not least, tomorrow, our last in the tomato series, I'm going to be doing shortcut shakshuka. And you shakshuka aficionados, and all of you who know your shakshuka and blah, 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 family history, family heritage, I'm not throwing that out the window. I'm just saying, here's a shortcut version of it using tomato sauce. And it's the one that my kids do and make all the time. They grab the sauce from the freezer, they add the spices, they cook the eggs in it, and I'm going to run through that with you tomorrow. Have some sourdough bread. We're going to toast it on the char grill pan together. And I promise you it'll be a really good Sunday brunch. But we're meeting at 11, I think it's 11:30 tomorrow. I think 11:30 instead of 12:15 because it's a Saturday. And I'm excited to share that. So that's it from me. Remember, if you cook this, please post your picture and tag Monday Morning CC. It's been fabulous spending the last hour with you. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you have too. And keep safe, everyone. Just keep safe, please, and keep on cooking. Bye for now. See ya.